we can tell America to go to hell when we've got our ducks in a row. So if you want to tell America to go to hell, count me out. Count me out. People don't listen to politicians that is arrogant. This thing needs cool heads now. Mexico and Trump was fighting a few evenings ago. They sorted that matter out. Canada, last night before I slept, I watched a video by Justin Trudeau. When I woke up, there was peace between Canada and America. Let us make peace and we trust.
Yeah, guys, so one of the things I've really come to understand about Mckenzie now is like he's actually getting bolder now in his confrontation with the ANC. All right, in this video now, he's really frontal in his criticism of the timing that the ANC actually signed this expropriation act, because it's now sort of like attracting consequences and repercussions to South Africa that's already going through a lot of crisis, a lot of stress, with a 33.3 thereabout unemployment rate. A lot of people in South Africa wake up every day without, having a place to go to kind of like provide services, for example, and earn a living. South Africa is burdened with as much as 82 murders a day, lots of violence. It actually feels like violence is an art. This is actually, I got this, phrase from one of this channel that this guy who actually interviews criminals who have actually left the prison. There was one guy he actually interviewed who actually argued that to them, criminality and, murder and all that crime was an art. So this is where South Africa is at the moment. We have lots of gangs in South Africa, gang violence, gender-based violence. We have calamities upon calamities. I think yesterday there was also a report that one of the SAPS members was actually shot. You see, so even the police is actually not really capable of really protecting the citizens, as it were. And so this is not the time to really now, kind of like go on with this act. According to Mckenzie, this expropriation act that now seems to be, having the spotlight of the US on South Africa, and that although now the USAID aid funding to many of the African countries anyway, but specifically PEPFAR for South Africa, because of PEPFAR stands for the President's Emergency PEP, President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief. That's what PEPFAR stands for. I think it was set up by President Ronald Reagan in the 1980s thereabout to support the high level of HIV and AIDS incidences in South Africa. Now it's being cut off, that's sure. So Mckenzie now is actually arguing that the timing of signing this expropriation act wasn't just right at all, that the ANC didn't really think carefully, and that it has actually might actually be an attraction for disaster to South Africa, because there are lots of people who do not have jobs. In the last video, I actually showed you how he was actually, kind of like referencing those, the leftists in South Africa, arguing that, this whole reading of Karl Marx. I told you guys about, listening to EFF's, the last meeting they had, the large one. And there were lots of theories, these leftist theories, which I usually study during my PhD studies. And, filling the EFF members and probably the leftists with leftist theories at this time. I don't know if probably socialism and leftist ideologies might be able to work in Africa. I really don't know. There was one academic, his name was George Aggrey, I think. He usually pointed out how socialism always failed, and socialism actually was one of the biggest problems that plunged Africa into poverty, because after the 1960s, when Africans started getting free, many of the African states, the only solution they thought could help their countries, which had actually been plunged into darkness by the throes of capitalism through slavery and colonialism, was to shift to socialism. But that was a death throw. This is now according to George, I think his name is Aggrey or Abite. I'll check. I'll show you guys that book. So he actually speaks about how socialism destroyed Africa. And so I don't really know if this is now still the time to still have socialism in Africa going forward, because our people are not developed. Our people don't have the skills. We've not really produced much to offer to the world. Right? I was listening to Prince Mashele. I'll be making a video on that. He speaks about how the people who built ESCOM, I think it was according to an invitation by Jan Smuts. I hope I'm not getting this wrong anyway, but I'm making a video on that. But he speaks about how those who built ESCOM were these Afrikaners and who were invited from the US. They had left South Africa at the time because probably they didn't see any hope or light in South Africa, but they were invited to the US to come and help build ESCOM. And ESCOM was then something that was built, based on the intelligence by these Afrikaners at the time, but that the ANC just touched it, and then, ESCOM is something that we really don't understand. So I don't know if probably this is the time for this whole socialist mantra, because we need our people to be productive. We need more productivity now on the continent, more enlightenment in terms of education, in terms of skills training and all that. I know South Africans are quite skilled. South Africans are really educated, really intelligent people. I've seen a lot of intelligent thinkers, but we need that now on a mass. We need a critical mass of, skilled people, educated people, especially in South Africa going forward, to really be able to counter, because South Africa is actually a light in Africa. That's why it's really seeming like it's a target by US. But, the potential in that space, in that land, South Africa, is something that if it can really be tapped, we're actually seeing a golden age of Africa going forward. And so that's what Mckenzie is actually almost in a way soft way blasting the ANC for the timing of signing of the Expropriation Act. It just wasn't warranted at all at this time. And according to him, he's actually bringing a lot of consequences and repercussions from the whole world, which South Africa is not really ready at the moment, with as much as 33.3% unemployment, as much as 82 murders a day, with all the violence and all that. South Africa is not in a place. And if Donald Trump decides to really take it with South Africa, pulls US companies out, we have a lot of as much as 1,300 billionaires already leaving South Africa. We have as much as I think it was about 30,000, taxpayers changing their tax residencies. We're seeing a country falling apart before our eyes, and a container of refugees really being born without a kind of war that we saw probably in Rwanda or even in Biafra in the 1970s. But this is a war that is actually an economic war that would generally generate refugees. And if SASA is not able to hold, as Chinua Achebe said, things fall apart and the center cannot hold. If things fall apart in South Africa and SASA cannot hold the black majority, I don't even have words for that. But let's quickly listen to Mckenzie really explain why the ANC's timing for the signing of the Expropriation Act was really wrong, and share your thoughts in the comments.
We've also, the way the ANC has brought this bill, they didn't think. You don't bring something that has this world repercussions, and then you just bring out a statement, whatever. They've handled it totally wrong. You must not be arrogant as a leader. You must not be arrogant as a leader. You must always think about your people first. So, Mckenzie, the leader of the Patriotic Alliance, don't want a trade war. There's a possibility that I will be in a meeting with some foreign leaders very soon, and I'm going to tell them we don't want a trade war. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs has answered very nicely that nobody is. Ronald Lamula, I was very clear. President Ramaphosa was also now clear. Apparently, he had a call earlier with Elon Musk. But let's not be arrogant, people. We can tell America to go to hell when we've got our ducks in a row. This AfriForum doesn't think when America cut us, all the farmers will suffer also, because the farmers export their stuff to America. Now, where will the farmer stuff go if there's sanctions? So I hope you are clear now. I'm clear with what I've said. I've explained that. Let us not be arrogant. Let us mine our gold, let us mine our platinum, let us mine our iron ore, let us mine our manganese, and let's get on the right track. So you are clear on that issue. People, let me tell you something. A job brings dignity. A job changes people's lives. Now I have a job. Some of you don't have jobs. So we that have jobs mustn't go and say we don't care. But if people want jobs, we must create jobs for our people. That's all we need to do. A job brings dignity. A job heals mental sadness. So I'm saying to you, our job as politicians should be not to be arrogant. We should be able to show our people the way and say, I was saying last week in Joburg, 2 weeks ago, I said I would have loved expropriation without compensation. But there's no time for that now. The world has changed. You can't expropriate without compensating. So that's my point I was just trying to make with this Trump issue. Then the second one is, the second one is the issue of, guys, when you follow someone, so somebody asked me a question here. AGUA, PEPFAR, these are all instruments that help South Africa currently. Now when America stops all the funding and aid, we are in trouble. Don't let them tell you, no, we don't care, we don't do. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them saying all this bravado things. It's nice being brave if you know your kids are not going to suffer. If you know you have a job. If you know you'll be fine. Some of you can't pack your kids up and leave the country. So South Africa is all that you have. All that you have is South Africa. Don't allow people to mess up. Some of the people that talk these things, they can take their whole family, me too, and go and live in another country. But some people can't afford to do that. And those people that can't afford to do that, you must never listen to populist politicians that just want to say the right thing, that always want to be praised. They can shout me, you can do what, you can call me a sellout, you can call me, I'm in the ass of America, you can do all those things. I think about jobs. I know some of you have never been without a job. I've been jobless. I know the pain and I know the happiness of getting a job. Our young people don't have jobs. Our old people don't have jobs. Now you still want to... Imagine if America can tell the Coca-Colas of this world, all the American companies, the IBMs, all of them, and they say leave. Imagine if they leave, how many people are going to be without jobs? Let's not act stupid and brave here. Let's not act stupid and brave. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. I was there when they took people's land. I was there in Zimbabwe when I saw them taking people's land. Today Zimbabwe is calling the white people back to pay them for the land they've taken from some of them. I'm not saying you shouldn't share the land for other races too. Khoisan needs land, black people also need land. But pay for the land. Let the state pay market value for the land. That's what I'm saying, for the land. So I hope, you guys that goes on, America does. Do you know Donald Trump? He will tell American companies to close up shop here. Yeah. You are playing. Yeah. You are playing.
I'm just giving you stats.
Just talk louder, people want to hear you.
So it's China,
Speak louder.
Germany, United States, in that order that we export to per year. And the December 2024 overview is that 6.9% of what we export in the country goes to America.
6.9% of what we export goes to America.
China is 11, Germany 7, US 6.9.
How many jobs, just check me, how many jobs does American companies create in South Africa? You see, as a leader, you mustn't be all arrogant and all this, all that, all that, all that. No, you shouldn't be. You must look at the balance of forces. Then I want to say to some people here, you must not.
62,000.
62,000 people.
That's just the data they have now.
Imagine 62,000 people will lose their jobs. You take that times 10. It's 620,000, 620 people. Times 10, 620 people. Families that will suffer. No, sorry, I'm wrong.
120,000.
How many people did they get?
They have on the stats. This is just straight and
So 60,000,
yeah.
200 people. So I'm saying, it's fine. 62,000 people have got jobs. That if you take it times 5, times 10, it gives you 620,000 people. So I'm just saying, let us not be foolish. For me, it's just the jobs. It's just the jobs. President Trump is wrong in what he's saying about farms being taken from white people. That's not true. But the jobs is very, very important. The people's jobs. People don't eat slogans. So if you want to tell America to go to hell, count me out. Count me out. People don't listen to politicians that is arrogant. This thing needs cool heads now. Mexico and Trump was fighting a few evenings ago. They sorted that matter out. Canada, last night before I slept, I watched a video by Justin Trudeau. When I woke up, there was peace between Canada and America. Let us make peace, and we trust our leadership to do the same.